the sacred symbolism of the Hebrew letters. And so it says Moses was born in exceeding fair, and they're going to talk about Moses. They're going to quote from Acts chapter 7, verse 20. And so the article says Moses represents that soul who has reached nirvana, the promised land, and became a full human being. His name properly is Moshe, which is spelled Mem Shin He. And those letters encode the meaning of his name. It means born of water and spirit. And so I want you to take a look at this. They're saying that the Mem represents water, the Shin represents fire, and the He represents a womb. Now, I don't just look at that and automatically think that. I have to have a guide to tell me that. Since the guide is not in the Bible, where does the guide come from? It comes from the Kabbalah. And so they give this, and I want you to get where I'm going with this right here. This is very important because they're giving you this mystical explanation of these Hebrew letters, and then they're telling you that this will actually help you understand Scripture. Because at the bottom there, underneath these Hebrew letters, if you have studied Christianity, you know what Jesus told Nicodemus. Verily I say unto thee, except you be born of water and of spirit, you cannot enter the kingdom of Theos, or God. And so this article basically explains to you how this works. You take the Hebrew letters, you look at their symbolism, you spell out a sentence, and that will help you understand what's in the Bible. Now, this is not coming from the Bible scholars, and it's not coming from the pastors. This right here that I'm teaching you is coming from those who study, practice, and promote the Kabbalah. They're telling you how they do it. That's what they're telling you. And so you can go online. You can see these various meanings for these letters. You just click on one here, Ancient Jewish Mysticism and Thought. The 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet are the building blocks of creation. This section of our website contains excerpts from Harav Ginsburg's classic book, The Hebrew Letters, Channels of Creative Consciousness. Follow these links and blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm going to pull up a graphic here. Let's see if I can, you know what, I don't have it. I have it up on my screen, and it basically, they're telling you what these Hebrew letters mean. For instance, according to the Kabbalah, the Hebrew letter Aleph means an ox or a bull. The Hebrew letter Bet means a tent or a house. Gimel means a camel. Daleth means a door. Hey represents a window or a fence. Vav, a nail. Zayin, a weapon. And on and on and on and on and on. This is the accepted Kabbalistic meaning of these particular letters. Here is another website. I just kind of scanned some websites on the Zohar and the Kabbalah. And all of them have primarily the same idea. Notice in this particular website here, they actually link the Kabbalah with the tarot. Those are tarot cards up there. And the tarot cards basically, you know how tarot people will, they'll say, oh, this is going to be the meaning of your life. It's in the cards. And they lay down cards, and that's supposedly the plan of your life. Well, here's the little thing about the tarot. And Manly Hall talks about this and so on. The tarot is actually the secret doctrine in these cards. It's all about the process. Now get this now. The tarot is all about the process whereby a mortal man becomes a god. Well, that's what was promised in Genesis 3. That's what the Kabbalah is all about. It's all about transforming the mortal man from his low estate up to the estate of a god. That's the big deception that lies and underlies the teaching of the Kabbalah. By the way, this website, let me pull this back up here. They have the exact same meanings. There's a consistency here. Aleph means ox, Beth means house or enclosure, Gimel means camel, and so on. And again, I look at these things and I'm just going, doesn't look like a camel. It just doesn't look like, I know what a camel looks like. It doesn't look like a camel. I would never look at that and say, I believe God says that's a camel. And I know for a fact that he never said it in his word. It doesn't exist there. It comes from the Kabbalah. Here's another one, a book on mystical Kabbalistic magic, the energy of Hebrew letters. And all of these references are teaching you the exact same thing, that Hebrew letters have symbolism to them, and they have their own little secret identity and a secret idea and a secret doctrine that you would never know just by reading the Bible. You would never know this reading the English Bible. So it's a secret doctrine. Here is an article from Wikipedia.com concerning, and pull this up here, what's called the linguistic mysticism of Hebrew. Kabbalistic thought extended biblical and midrashic notions that God enacted creation through the Hebrew language and through the Torah into a full linguistic mysticism. And this, every Hebrew letter, word, number, even accent on words of the Hebrew Bible contain esoteric, which means secret, meanings, describing the spiritual dimensions within exoteric ideas. Let me explain what this is saying. And I've used this quote before. In studying, let me pull out Kathy Burns' book here. Okay, this is a good book to get on symbols. And she uses these quotes in here. She'll actually tell you, here's what Albert Pike said. Symbols have an exoteric and an esoteric meaning. The exoteric is what you would plainly read on the outside. But those who are trained well enough can know the real deep secret meanings that nobody else knows. Let me tell you something. There's a reason why God wrote Mystery Babylon on the whore's forehead. Is that she is the goddess of all mystery doctrines and mystery ideas. Now, you have to decide whether you believe that you can understand everything and read plainly everything about God from the words of your English Bible, or do you have a mindset you have been told by somebody else that you can't understand the full God by reading the English Bible. You have to go into with a Hebrew mindset and study these letters and study these words and know what they are according to what the Jews said they meant and the Jews said that they referenced. By the way, I did a Pastor Mike Online here a while back called Why I Am Not a Jew. It's now being posted all over the place that I am an anti-Semite. Anybody who knows this ministry and knows what I believe and what I teach about the nation of Israel, you know that's not true. But they're just taking a little portion of this. Most people haven't even watched it. They said, well, I'm not watching that, because someone posted it and said, here's my lunacy, I'm anti-Semitic, which is not true. But I'm telling you something about the Jews that the Bible says about them. They rejected the Messiah. They are half blind. I'm going to show you scriptures here in a little bit. And the fallacy of thinking and someone teaching, like Staley, that we have to go and understand the way the Jews understood it is wrong. It is wrong. It's not just wrong according to me. It is unbiblical and wrong. It is unscriptural and wrong to do that. Let me continue on here. Let's see here. Oh, here's part of the Zohar. Let me pull this up here. This again from Wikipedia. There is a Zohar Kaddish and the Torah on many parashas across the Chumash. This stuff doesn't even make sense to me because I don't know Hebrew. Within the paragraphs of the Zohar Kaddish are inserted something called the Sitrei Otiyot, which means secrets of the letters. And so I want you to understand this, where I'm going with this. That the Kabbalah and the underlying documents of the Kabbalah, the Zohar, which if you just read them, you'd never understand them. They're weird. The underlying documents of the Kabbalah, the Zohar, plainly teach that there is a mystical thing with the secret meanings of the Hebrew letters. And there is actually a part of the Zohar, let me read it again, a part of the Zohar called the Secrets of the Letters. Now, again, we are not told in the Bible that Hebrew letters have a secret meaning. We're not told that. In fact, Paul says the exact opposite. He said we use plainness of speech and not as Moses. There is no secret doctrine to be discovered outside of the Scriptures. It doesn't exist. Not from God, it doesn't. From the devil it does, but not from God. And remember, this setup goes all the way back to Genesis chapter 3. For God doth know. First, he starts off to Eve by saying, Yea, hath God said. And so the first function of anybody who wants to introduce a false doctrine to you is that they must get you in your mind to not believe the word of life that you have handled in your hand, the Bible. It's the first thing they got to do. And so when you watch Jim Staley and you watch his videos, you watch his teachings, you will understand that he plainly says that you cannot understand what God said, what God really said, by reading the King James Bible or the English translated Bibles. You can't understand it. You have to go into the Hebrew roots. And he knows this because, well, I'll get into that in a little bit. Here is Jim Staley's website. This is today. This is from today. You can go there right now and look at it. It is Passion for Truth Ministries and his new dynamic teaching series that will revolutionize your spiritual journey. Discover the depth of the Hebrew alphabet. That's on his website right now. All right? So, and I'm going to read you some more. But already I'm looking at this, and he is teaching that there is a depth of understanding that's in the Hebrew alphabet and Hebrew words that as you just read the plain text of the Scriptures, your King James Bible, you will never understand it. You'll never get this. You would have never known this had the expert, Staley, not told you that this was there. You would have never gotten it. Because we live in America. We don't sit, there's no Hebrew road signs. We don't watch TV shows in Hebrew, and we don't listen to music in Hebrew. So we don't know the language. We don't even know the letters. So these guys have to tell us what they mean and what they are. And again, when they tell us what these letters mean, where did they get that meaning? And they did not get it from the Bible. And so as far as I'm concerned, the teaching itself is extra-biblical, unbiblical. It's not right. And so that's on his website. Now, Jim Staley is all about Torah, keeping the Torah. You must believe the Torah. You must keep the Torah. Here is from his video, Jim Staley, Passion for Truth Visioncast. This on YouTube. We fundamentally believe that the world needs to hear the message of the Torah. Well, if you were going to ask me, do I think the Torah is, and I don't even see the word Torah here. Do you ask me if the Old Testament's important? Absolutely. I believe exactly what Paul said about